everybody, and welcome to episode 387 of the All You Can Hear podcast. My name is Wenzel, and who the fuck is joining me today?
My name is Sarsaparilla Colt.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's post-whistle, Pat.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm letting you know that your package in the mail, and I know what's in the package. I'm not going to tell anybody, but for the right price, and if you piss me off, I might let it slip here or there.
Oh.
Say post-whistle?
Yeah, because back in the day, they had a little tiny whistle that they would blow to let you know that the post had come when if they were driving by your house.
Yeah, that was a little before your time, Colt.
Yeah, I'm not 130.
Okay, well, Pat's only like 500, and I'm 700, so...
Yeah, and I'm only like 3, so...
Yeah, Colt is late to his immortality. Like, he's a baby immortal. The rest of us, we've been kicking around the stones of civilization for a little while longer.
Please don't rip my head off, because I will not die.
Oh my god, okay. All right, so today is going to be a banter episode, and talking about babies. I'm just going to go right into it. Business baby. If you know what I'm talking about, business baby.
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. Business baby stands on business, though. Business baby. Business baby was at the front lines. Business baby was our last chance against the Viltrumites. Business baby. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, okay, so spoilers for Invincible season 3. Spoilers just for all of Invincible. I'll go ahead and say that right now. I'll put a timestamp for whenever we get past this. But Invincible season 3 is popped off. We recently just had episode 7 come out. There's one more episode coming out this week, this Thursday, episode 8. So episode 7, we had the Invincible War. I haven't read it. Colt's read it. Pat's read most of it, or a lot of it at least. And for me, like, this episode was just insane. I've said it in the chat. I've been talking about it with Colt so much because it was just so fucking crazy. I've told them, I'm like, once this season's over, I have to start reading the comics. Colt let me borrow the compendiums. I have all 3, these big, fat, chunky boys. I'm going to read them. I'm going to eat them. And it's gonna be great. Because this episode was insane. Like the lead up to it too, when it shows all of the evil Invincibles, and then just seeing them all fly out the portals and just go across the planet, and it's just like, oh yeah, there's at least 18 evil Invincibles on the planet right now. 18 of the strongest fucking beings on the planet, just wanton killing and destroying. Like, in my mind, I was just like, this is so fucking bad. This is so insane. And then, like, it's so brutal, but it was also so cool. And I told this too. It got me kind of emotional just seeing, like, at least like everybody like putting their lives on the line, all these heroes that are fighting. Hell, even heroes like who we haven't seen before who are actually putting up a fight. Like, I mean, there was a hero I was talking to Colt about that was like really cool. I was like, who the fuck is this? It's like some guy named Tech Jacket, and dude was able to solo an Invincible by himself in space. Like, I'm like, who the hell is that? Like, that's cool. And then there's this wolf guy who one of the Viltrumite Invincibles was fighting. That was really cool. And he was like, I killed you in my world. I'm gonna kill you again. But he ended up killing that Invincible, and like, it was just super sick. And apparently I told Colt this, or Colt knows this. I didn't realize this, but when I was looking up screenshots and panels to share for some post, I saw where actually in the original comic, when he's that Invincible is fighting, he's fighting Spawn, and that's the line that he says. And I forget that Spawn, Savage Dragon, they're all in the same universe. They had to change it though because they couldn't get the rights to show Spawn.
Thanks, McFarlane.
Which is crazy because it's yeah. Which I also should say they should just make a Spawn show at this point. I think that would be really sick.
I mean, they've been kind of collecting checks from that HBO 90s series for a long time now. I mean,
Oh, God.
I wouldn't be surprised if they made an, with the modern, animation, it would look pretty cool. I will say the Wolf character, like he has his own series from the
Yep.
comics, like a long time ago. Because I remember buying the Astounding Wolfman comics before I bought the Invincible comics.
Oh, yeah, Colt told me he had his own series. That's really cool. I love werewolves, so I'm actually kind of interested in that. It's very cool. There's like Colt told me like a bunch of characters: Tech Jacket, Wolfman, Brit. Really,
A
really cool.
British
Like
old man.
a
That's all I
British
really
old
know
man.
about him.
I would like to think though that Brit doesn't stand for British; it stands for Brittany. So, um, it was really cool. But one of the funny fucking things, and it honestly made me gasp because un it was unreasonably brutal. But one of the heroes that they send out is Business Baby, and like you don't know who this is unless you have the subtitles on. It says, "Oh, Business Baby," and Business Baby is fighting one of the Invincibles, and then um one of the other heroes is this big ass unproportional green guy, and he's on his back and he gets thrown and crushes Business Baby. Business Baby's gone.
Yep, Business
Dead.
Baby's so dead. The funny thing is, as soon as I watched the episode, I messaged Wenzel. I said, I have no clue who that baby
I
is
was
because I don't
asking Cole.
recognize him.
I was like, "Who is Business Baby?" I was like,
I
"Who is that?"
assumed it was a character in like one of the spin-off comics that I haven't read, like the Brit. No, I looked it up. He was just for the show, and he was there for like 30 seconds and got crushed immediately.
I don't I don't know if I believe you. I feel like Business Baby has a huge role. I feel like he's gonna be there to fight the Viltrum Empire. I feel like he's gonna be the last line of defense.
Where's the 5 episode Amazon miniseries about Business Baby? We want it now.
He was
I
some crazy flips in that episode.
Dude, he was jumping around. He was doing combos with this guy. I'm like, who is like I would love spin-off shows of some of these characters. Like, I mean, like shit. Like you talk about how some of these characters have their own comics. I mean, just go for it at this point. Like do some little spin-off series. I think it would be cool. And I know it would probably help to further expand upon these characters, even if it's not much. Like something cool.
Little
Oh man.
like Invincible like anthology series. Like each episode is like, or
Oh,
even multiple like little segments in episode. Like a little extended like view at some of the other supers in the setting, because there's like some very interesting characters, and plus there are plenty of folks who are like pretty fucking gnarly what they can like whip out. I'm not sure everyone's going to get like an Adam Eve treatment, but like there's still some plenty cool characters.
like for real. Like I think, oh wow, I forgot like the Adam Eve special. They should do that. That would be super sick. Like maybe not an hour long, but 30, 40 minutes. I mean shit, if they could do an hour, go for it.
Just
But
do a
like,
whole
yeah.
series, like the boys did, where it was just random what if episodes for the boys.
I mean, just
But
do it.
not
Yeah.
what if for Invincible, just like 30-minute episodes where it follows a character.
Oh, you mean like an anthology series like Pat just said, Colt?
No.
Are you trying to make a fool of me?
Yeah.
I come over here in my sick bed, on other people's sick beds, and I'm trying to provide for you. Wow.
Yeah,
Just
go look
shows
for oh man. Go look for your grandson. He's got a chocolate bar and you're about to go to a factory.
Actually, that would be pretty nice right now.
That I imagine Pat's like in an old wartime hospital talking to us. I don't know. But no, that's actually a really cool idea. I mean, I don't know. Amazon, don't steal our idea, pay us. But
Yeah,
that's a
Yes.
heavy
TM.
that's a heavy
AY Gates
ask.
presents the Invincible side stories.
Yep. But yeah, yeah, this episode was crazy. Um, oh gosh. And then I'm trying to think of something else. Oh yeah, also too that green guy that was comboing with Business Baby, and there's another guy that looks like a beefcake John Cena, even though John Cena is already kind of a beefcake. Like like this isn't me ripping on them or anything. I generally think like it's funny and interesting is like the proportions on these guys are just so weird. That green guy, like when I saw the dude in jean shorts running, I was like, that's a weird looking dude. But then when I saw the green guy, I was like, whoa, that's even weirder. That those proportions are crazy. Tiny hands, but big forearms and and biceps, big chest, small head, short legs. I don't get it, but I kind of like it. I don't know. It's very strange. And then oh yeah, just a crazy episode. And then, like all the Invincibles, Steven Yeun is such a fun voice actor, and it's so funny hearing him be evil because you can hear it in his voice, and he's also played some kind of like dastardly like characters in films before. So it's just so weird, but also fits. Like he's good. I love Steven Yeun. He's so fun. Um, and then also too, they gave names for all of the Invincibles in this episode. So like every time an evil Invincible talks, they give like a fun name. Like one of them is the pretty iconic one is Mo Vincehawk.
Yeah, I fucking hate him. He's
Dude's an
evil.
asshole. He's evil, dude. It was crazy. There's the Omnivincible, there's the Mustachable, Mask Vincible, No Maskable. There's No Gogglesable. It's fun. It's very fun. Um, oh gosh, it was crazy too because I don't know if it was the Mohawk one or um, it was a different Invincible, but one of them went to their house and was trying to find their mom to kill them again. It was like evil, 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 evil. It's like the line delivery was so good. It's like, ah, shit. I was really hoping to kill her again. Like, what the hell? Oh man, and it's so satisfying too, seeing all them get killed because at least Earth kind of stands a chance, but they took like heavy losses. Jesus Christ, man. Um, and then
Fucking hate Angstrom Levy, man. When I found out he wasn't dead from when I was reading it, I was like, God damn, what will it take?
dude, I was like, when it shows what his face looked like after what Mark did to him, I was like, you should not be alive. But then it occurred to me, I was like, probably the only reason why he's alive is because that big ass brain of his. If the brain isn't destroyed, which it's huge, that he probably can't die, which is scary. Um, and then what was really cool too is that the guys who repaired him, the technicians, Doug Bradley voices Technician 1. If you don't know who that is, he plays Pinhead, the original Hellraiser. So that was very fitting because these technicians are all about pain and the fascination of corpses and bodies and stuff. So it was very cool.
Oh, you mentioning the Angstrom Levy like climactic scene. I do think it's interesting that that scene has a different tone in the comic versus the show, because in the comic, Mark seems like terrified that he mauled this guy to death with his, or almost to death, seemingly to death with his full strength. And he has like a shocked expression when he says, "I thought you were stronger than this." And then in the show, he has like this like disappointed, like dismissal tones, like, "I thought you were stronger than this." I thought it interesting how they changed both of those scenes.
He definitely seemed really, really sad in the episode, but I did see where somebody pulled up a comparison panel of that, and again, I'd have to read it, but I don't know. I sorry, can't really say much. For me, at least in the show, he definitely seemed really sad, but also on the side of disappointed, and I think that's because like prior to this, he was fighting him, and he did assume that he was stronger because of what was happening. But like you said, he used his full strength, and it was like, oh shit, I, never mind. So I don't know. I'd have to, like I said, I'm gonna read it, and I'll figure out my thoughts on that. But oh, that's no, I don't know. That's crazy.
Well, at least that's how it felt to me, comparing the two moments between the mediums. And of course, they made plenty of smaller and bigger changes over the course of the series so far. And like, I, for the most part, I haven't had any really issue with them changing anything from the original subject matter.
Yeah, yeah. I won't talk about it again because it's been talked about to add yeah, what was I gonna say? No.
Ad nauseum.
Ad nauseum. Yeah, there it is. Ad nauseum about the animation, and I don't want to add to the discourse because I think we've already talked about it in one of the episodes, but it's bullshit. I don't agree. The animation is completely fine. It's good even, and wow, I had a thought and it completely escaped me. Damn it.
And plus, like, there's already like a lot of brain rot regarding Invincible online, and like it's annoying just to see it. So less said about it, the better. Like, we realize there's gonna be a big difference of opinions, but sometimes it's just like I just want to close any app I see when like certain shows or things come up, because I know immediately there's just going to be like the worst opinions you've ever heard about it.
Oh yeah, and it's specifically for me, it's been on Instagram because Instagram, as I've said, is just it's the hellscape now. Or it's been turning into a hellscape, but I think it's turned into a hellscape. I don't want to say faster than Twitter, but it's about this. It's just like Twitter now. It's insane. It's terrible. Um and and that's where I've been seeing all my stuff. And now I remember now what I was gonna say. People talk about how they're upset that they're doing injustice to Otley style and whatever, which is crazy because the artist or art director and Otley, they work together on the show. Like they work together on the show, and every time like he comes up with a design, he shows it to Otley, and Otley approves it. So all these designs and everything, these choices go to Otley, and they're approved first. So and not only that, like Otley shares this stuff from the show and
Yeah, like
loves.
he's very much involved with the whole process. So people trying to like defend him, like, oh, it's being savage or just or whatever. It's like just shows like how little they pay attention to the thing they profess to like so much, because clearly they're clueless about the comics and they're clueless about the process.
Dude, it makes me so frustrated, and then it's so funny too because at the very end of this new episode, we get the final. I know for a lot of people, they've been waiting for this. Is Conquest coming to Earth, and people have been now literally because the episode came out. It makes no sense, but I also see it as like maybe these fuckers are just trolls and rage bait because there was one episode or one video I saw before this. I was like, that was, like, literally the day before, they were talking about, "Oh, yeah, this animation sucks, it's terrible, it's awful, like, I have no hope for this last episode, it's gonna be awful, blah, 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 blah." Then Conquest shows up, and he's like, "Oh my god, dude, we are so wrong. It's very obvious, very clear that they've been saving all their budget for this last episode with Conquest, blah, 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 blah." It's like, dude, if you if you talk like the way you talk, you knew Conquest was coming in this last episode. Like, you knew. Like, so there's no way you'd be like, "I did not see this happening. This is a huge surprise. It's very clear that they knew what they were doing." Like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, dude. Ooh, you guys are awful, terrible. Uh, so yeah, so to talk about Conquest though, that was crazy. And it's also crazy that Jeffrey Dean Morgan voices him. So it's Jeffrey coming back to kill Stephen Yun again in
That's a
another
good bit. That's a good bit.
in another Image and Kirkman property is so funny. Like, oh man, it was really sick. Just just the just the reveal and line delivery of like I am Conquest. Oh my god. It was like stand ready for my arrival, worm. I think that's the line he says. Oh dude. I am very scared for this next episode because don't get me wrong, Mark's strong right now. He is, but this Conquest guy looks very big and I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be a good fight. I think it's gonna be very one-sided. And what was funny too is somebody pointed out that the song track that they play for Conquest, I saw this. It's called the second strongest Viltrumite, which I'm like, no, no, what do you mean? Don't say that. Don't point that out. God, this is gonna. I have a feeling it's gonna be really bad. It's gonna be like end of season 1.
Yeah. See, that's one thing that always kills me about just like dumbass criticisms of Invincible. The people are like, "Oh, Mark gets beat up too much. Like he loses too often." It's like, do you realize the whole point of this show is to like, it's like kind of like an exercise in, okay, what is when Superman fought, like, it was really crazy and bloody, and like this isn't a real spoiler, but Mark gets his ass kicked like the entire series. Like he gets beat the fuck up the whole time, and like, obviously to varying degrees of like brutality, but like that's kind of the bread and butter of the game. It's just like how much bullshit can Mark physically withstand, and like that's kind of what you're signing up for with the show. But like, yeah, like this is a pretty stormy days ahead for the gang coming up for sure.
Yeah, it's fucking the entire point of Invincible is they keep throwing stronger and stronger and stronger enemies at them until the end of the series, which at that point I don't think you can throw anything stronger at them. But coming up next week, this has been something I've been waiting for years at this point, since I finished it in like 2021, 2, I can't remember. This Conquest fight, no spoilers, but there was a lot of red going through that fight.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm burping. I'm nervous and I'm burping. What's crazy too is that when this happens, I'm like, this is so bad because the Invincible War just happened. So this is literally after what, day 3? The Invincible War just happened. The whole planet is devastated. All of the heroes are either working to rebuild. They're not strong enough to fight Conquest, I assume. They're either injured or they're dead. And with
Yeah.
what happened with Invincible, with all the faces of Invincible, I'm like, public opinion's gonna be so bad. I'm like, nobody's gonna fucking help him. It's gonna be probably just him and Oliver. And Oliver's a baby. It's not Business Baby. Business Baby would survive, obviously.
Yeah.
It's just I'm just like, I am this is gonna be brutal. And and like you were saying, Pat, I'm just like, there are people who talk about this who say they've read the comics, and I'm just like, how are you surprised? Like the entire time is like you said, it's him getting his ass kicked. He's holding back, which was stated very early on that he's holding back, or there are weapons that are being used against him that are meant to be used against him. And it's just like that's all done on purpose. And then not only that, a lot of people talk about like how like, oh, you don't need to kill like Oliver's very like is showing himself to be gonna be very evil. Invincible's probably gonna have to do something about him, blah blah blah. Like you can't fall into this. And then like through it, I'm like, I think this like people were saying like this is teaching you like that it's still wrong to kill or whatever. And it's just like I think this show is more so investigating the ethics of that and like kind of the gray of like, well, we have people who are committing mass murder or who are really evil. Like, what do we do about that? We can't just say, oh, we can't kill them because, like, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, murder is wrong. That's not what it's saying. It's not saying that we should just kill whenever, whatever. But like, what happens when we're confronted with somebody like Angstrom Levy, who sent out Invincibles and killed like hundreds of thousands of people? Like, he killed more people than Omni Man in 3 days. Like, it's like, "Oh, no, we can't kill him." It's like, "Okay, well, what do you do?" Because he can teleport, he can leave, he has precautions, highly intelligent, has most superpowered beings in the universe on his side, or that he can at least manipulate or use. And he's killed already hundreds of thousands of people. You can't just say, "Oh, we can't kill him," because let me tell you, everybody would fucking kill Hitler.
All
Everybody.
in the show, it was pretty clear. Mark was about to kill
Mark
Angstrom.
Mark was about to kill him, and people were like, "Oh, you can't fall into that," especially with Oliver. It's like Oliver was literally like thrown around by him as a child, and he remembers it. Not only that, he brutalized their own mother. Uh, like,
Yeah.
I l like, and then, like I said, like, he's already killed so many people, and, like, Mark is about to kill him, and it's just like, yeah, kill him. He's evil, and if you don't kill him right now, he's gonna kill more people. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen next. Like, I'm sorry, go for it. This is fine. This is okay. You can do that. Like, and then also too, like, investigating, like I said, the ethics too, and, like, kind of it's really fascinating because, again, when we're dealing with Omni-Man and beings like Omni-Man who were, like, over thousands of years old, and, like the idea of redemption, especially for stuff like that, like, I think it's really fascinating and something that I'm really, really curious to explore with this, and how they explore it. Um Yeah, like, so far, like, this show has been incredible, and it's like, it's not a normal fucking superhero thing where it's like, "Oh, yeah, we have to be better than them, we can't kill them," that Batman bullshit. It's just like, no. It's like, these some of these guys are psychopaths, like, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, like obviously, there's depending on your setting, there can be different degrees of like, when mercy doesn't seem like absolutely insane. I will say another comment that from IDW, I think, does this very well is the IDW run of the Transformers comics, because there's
Oh.
a portion where this is it's kind of hard to be called a spoiler since they spent out for over 10 years, but there's a portion where Megatron, has a face turn where he joins the good side, and there's a very poignant and great story in the latter part of the series that explores, can someone as genocidally monstrous as of a figure like Megatron, is it possible for them to redeem themselves, to help? And it to me, it gives like a very interesting like answer and like follow through with like the way to, even though, yes, this is a silly fictional character like a robot, but how they tell that story to me is very interesting. It's not just like, oh, I feel bad about this guy, is wah wah, but to me, it's a very well done instance of that. So I think, you know the show is going their own way with this sort of question, but I think if you're looking for something else that's sort of tackling that subject, that's a good one to look into.
Okay. Yeah, I've actually been curious about the IDW Transformers, for a while, because I that's what I hear. It's, like, really, really good.
Hmm.
Uh, that's really interesting to know, Pat, and bring that back up again about, like, a redemption and stuff, and, like, these beings who are, again, like, I think it's an interesting idea because, how can we apply the same, like, ethics, philosophy, and, like, laws to these beings who are more powerful than us, who outlive us? Like, how do we do that? And there was a really good, moment in the Powerplex episode where, Powerplex is trying to get, he had a petition signed about an investigation and putting Invincible on trial, but the woman was like, "Invincible," and obviously it's not Invincible's fault because Invincible is a victim. But Invincible was defending the planet from his own father. And not only that, our laws just don't apply in this. Like, we can't, like, these aren't just regular state level or even federal laws. We can't, like, how do we handle this? Like, we can't put him on trial because he didn't cause those deaths on purpose. And not only that, like, he's more powerful than anybody on the planet. Like, physically, like, what do we do, you know? Um, so I think it's really fascinating, and then also too, like, Cecil's, the program that they have, the GDA, to reform criminals, I think is really fascinating um, because when they introduce Cecil and like later, like his kind of like change of, I guess, heart, if you want to say it like that, of like, taking criminals and reforming them and using them for the greater good, pretty much. I think that's really an interesting concept, again, about redemption. And we see that with Darkwing too. It was really cool in this Invincible War episode where um Darkwing, I was afraid Darkwing was gonna end up like his predecessor, which it mirrored that. Literally, the first episode when Darkwing gets slammed on the ground and splatted by Omni-Man, same thing happens, but he doesn't get splatted, but he breaks his fucking leg. But Darkwing is able to take Invincible into the Shadowverse, and he has to trap him there. And I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. They say that he's missing and presumed dead. I also assume he died, but I assume not since we didn't see a body. So, but it's still a pretty big sacrifice because if he can't leave the Shadowverse, and we know there are monsters in the Shadowverse, so I don't know. I think it's really interesting what they're doing. I hate this bullshit of black and white that people are trying to apply to this of like, oh, it shouldn't be done like that. It's like, okay, we're not pulling this Batman bullshit. He should have killed Joker. Batman's a fucking coward. Like, I love Batman, but Batman's a coward. Let's be real.
Well, I also think there's like a general issue with like trying to apply like stark real world ethics to like a comic book setting in general. And there's like, and plus there's, many people have talked about it many other places. It's like, I do think there's sort of like a general rising level of like very rudimentary morals that's to me very frustrating to listen to at times. Like, is everything's black or white? And when like, yes, like there are, concrete uh goal points and and morality, I do think, but it's just like how certain like pop morality sort of like talking points seem very reductive to real life. And like, I'm sorry, like you can't talk about, oh, what about restorative justice when there's like giant demons that try to flood the world with like a blood tide. Like there's just some stuff you can't reasonably apply real world stuff too. And like I understand because we are more aware of certain things in the real world, like seeing fiction mirror that in some ways is like a nice change. But at the same time, like I do think it's kind of annoying when there's like this weird like shrill morality that's kind of morality play being applied to all these different things when like that's not really necessary, and a lot of times it doesn't fit. Like, well, Batman would be more effective if he uses billions of dollars on giving institutions of rights. Like, sure, but like this isn't the real world, and that's what we want in the real world. We want to see a guy fight a man made of mud. Like, nobody's asking for restorative justice for Clayface. So a time and a place to apply those, real world justice desires and that the need for ethics and governmental practices, but like obviously learn where to apply that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with stuff like this, like with any sort of literature or any sort of media, I mean, it's just kind of it's like a thought exercise. Take these things, mull it over, think about it. Like, yeah. So, absolutely. Um, Other than that, that's really, oh man, I got everything out I want to say about Invincible. It's awesome. I'm very excited for this final episode. I'm scared. Um, yeah. If anybody has anything else to say, go for it. But I'm tapping out. That's all. That's all my Invincible talk.
Prepare for Conquest Worm.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, prepare for my Conquest Worm. Wham.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What'd you say, Colt?
Penis.
Okay, that's what I thought you said. All right. Speaking of shows, Pat, there's a pretty popular show that I think you've been catching up on that me and Colt are caught up on.
Yeah, just rub it in my face how you know everything I don't about this series that I've been humbly enjoying. No, but I have been steadily catching up with Demon Slayer, a little anime you might have heard of, over the last few weeks. And I started season. I guess technically the Demon Train quote season I picked back up at the very start of the year, and as of this morning I started the first episode of the Hashira training arc, and it's been a great ride to sort of re-experience certain things about the series, and also finally kind of forge my way to the remaining portions that I hadn't yet experienced. And like, I don't care what people say. Demon Slayer is really cool. Like I'm in thoroughly enjoying it. Like you can say it's just the next big shonen, and like I don't know. I think it's popular for a reason. I pretty much love all the characters. Animations like is superlative, and it's kind of it has like a really nice mm, fantasy hook that I'm really interested in. Like I'm just like really in a Demon Slayer like hole right now. Like I'm really kind of want to it can eat more of this buffet, but I know like there's only so much out there because the series is, despite being a big mainstream flagship shonen, it's not super long and there's not a lot of ancillary material out there. So I'm trying to be judicious about what I consume because I don't want to spoil myself anymore. That's kind of already kind of floating in the air right now, but it's been great. It's like just great action, great moments. Like even stuff like I watched a lot enough media to know, okay, this is what's going to happen. Like I still experience like like a little like thrill of like, oh shit, this is happening. Like spoilers for Demon Slayer in general in this next portion of the show, but toward the climax of the Swordsmith Village when daylight's breaking and Tanjiro has to choose between shielding his demon sister or chasing after the upper rank that's about to attack
Ugh.
the fleeing swordsmith, and when Nezuko flings them into the air when she's like burning to a crisp, I was like, "Fuck!" Like, because even though in the back of my head she'll be fine, but still like I still felt that moment when it happened.
Dude, oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't read the manga. I still haven't read the manga. One consensus from a lot of people that have read the manga: don't read the manga. Just wait for the episodes to drop. But since I didn't know, I thought like, shit, is Nezuko die here? What the fuck's gonna? So I was like teary eyed and freaking out. Like, uh oh.
Like
I
the same. Like I got a little misty. I guess like fuck, because like this she can't die here. Like this is like she's main characters, but like we've seen characters like I feel like that are very important. They sort of they bit the dust pretty definitively, and it's like shit. Like it. I was fooled enough, even though I've seen enough to maybe have second opinions, but like it's been great so far. Like it's been like I like the number of times that I was like my jaw like just dropped at like a crazy action sequence or like a brutal blow. I was like, fuck, they're getting just whooped in the Hantenku like clone fight or whatever you like to call that.
dude, that oh my god, okay, I'll say it, like, so far because I've seen the Hashira training, Demon Slayer has emotionally destroyed me. I'm ready for the movies, but it has never failed to not make me cry. Like you said, whenever Nezuko flung him, I didn't know what was gonna happen because I haven't read the manga. Colt and Cody and everything else I've seen have said, "Don't read the manga." So I've been consistent, I've been patient, I'm like, "I'm not doing it." And I didn't know what was gonna happen, but it made me cry. And then whenever Tanjiro is like bringing up his blade is gonna cut the final tiny itty bitty little clone, and he's like, he screams, "You're gonna pay for your life with, or you're gonna pay for your sins with your life." I was screaming in my mind. I was like, it was just that goes so hard. And not only that too, he just the demon deserved it because so far we've seen so many demons with like very sad backstories besides Kyoko and this guy. Because it's revealed that no, he was a scumbag, even when he was a human. So he deserves it. Don't feel bad for him. And the whole clone shit was so annoying. I was like, this guy needs to die. Again, it's okay. You can kill these guys. They're evil. Like holy shit, dude. That was crazy. And then when like around the first like 4 clones, whenever they're fighting, when Tondro does the dragon head dance, that was crazy. And then it's also revealed that what's his name? The brother of the Winhashira.
Giyu or
Giyu.
Genya.
Genya. Yes, Genya. When it's revealed that Genya eats demon flesh and he can become a demon, I was like, what? Okay, that's pretty cool.
Because I was curious because like right when like the clones split off and like okay, this motherfucker's got a chip in the shoulder, he's got like a gun, what's he gonna do? And then it cuts to like he's just like impaled in the chest with that spear from the sad clone. I was like, oh, I guess he's dead. And then he gets back. Okay, what trick does he have to keep getting? Because like there was a bit
breathe.
where he gets poked full of holes like goddamn Swiss cheese. I'm like, okay, I accept. Okay, this breathing thing gives them supernatural powers, even though they act like this isn't supernatural. They're fucking superhuman. Let's put it on Front Street. And then he disappears for a second because Tondro goes running after the little guy or something, and then Genya shows back up and he's fixed, like completely fixed. I'm like, what the hell is happening? And then there's like a random one-off line. It's, oh, I ate demon flesh and now I have demon powers. I was like, okay, I guess that's how that mystery is just going to get wrapped up in just an aside like that. But like the fights were incredible, and like when the thunder drum demon comes out, I was like, are you fucking kidding me with this clone? I mean, like not in like a legitimate like criticism. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, what fucking more is this dude gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, the Swordsmith Village art was great. I do think it's funny that Muichiro was like just stuck in like a water prison jutsu for like it felt like 5 episodes, and then
Yeah.
and then I will say there I still have some criticism. I do feel a little sad that the Love Hashira, she got a great showing, but she didn't get to like beat anybody other than like the giant fish thing at the very beginning, or toward the beginning of the big like clusterfuck. But she's still super cool. I love her. Muichiro with his fighting the flower pot fish demon guy, that was still sick. Like, and like it's just been a great ride the whole time. And I do have an inclination about what's going to happen in the Hashira training arc, because the world doesn't stop because you haven't seen something. So I have an idea that something big happens at the end of this season, like a big
No.
like oh shit thing happens at the end. But
No.
you can't fool me. I know there's a rug pull coming, motherfucker. It's like that bitch in her mean coin.
There's not 3 movies to Pat. There's not going to be 3 movies.
I am curious to what degree that the roller coaster takes to the next height. But I'm fully on board. Like I said, I kind of hate to having I'm sort of like stamping my foot with impatience, because I'm like I'm right up against I guess like a threshold here. Like I can keep going and read the manga. Like I don't think the manga looks bad. I do think like obviously they went crazy with the animation in this. It's like I said, anybody, even people who don't like Demon Slayer say like you can't fault the animation on it. Although like I want to know what happens, but I kind of want to experience that the revelation as they come, with especially with like the larger group of people. Because I remember when I went to go see even the Demon Train movie, like everybody was like either gasped quiet or just shocked. And then the finale with uh Rengoku, I think like everybody was crying, not a dry eye in the house.
I cried in my house.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
Watching it in the theaters, I remember just like,
dude, when the Swordsmith Village season with Muichiro, I was crying. I was like, I love this baby boy. He needs to be protected. He's so strong. He's one of the chosen ones. He's a descendant of sun breathing. Like, and then his showing his backstory, it made me cry. So, like, I don't know why I do know why, because everything's gotten me emotional. It was so just heartbreaking. His twin dying, but then also too, he kills a demon by himself with nothing, with but rocks and a few like of their on hand tools. Just like bashes this thing's head in, or puts a rock on it. Like Jesus Christ, it was so cool. And then him like training just a few months and became a Hashira immediately, and his mist breathing was so cool. Him completely just killing oh god, I said it before. Gyoko. Okay,
Yoko? Yeah.
Gyoko. I'm just making sure I got it right because I've heard Gyoka for something else, and I keep thinking Gyoka, but it's Gyoko. Gyoko, which I love the design of Gyoko, by the way. The dude is dastardly. He's disgusting, but holy shit, he's like one of my favorite demon designs. I think he looks so cool. But man, it was crazy. Like just smooth as hell. Um, and yeah, I agree with the Love Hashira. They didn't give her now to be fair, I think from the standpoint that they or the writing that's been done, Muichiro was had to solo. They had to show how strong Muichiro was, so they had him have him solo Upper Moon 5, and then for Kanroji, the Love Hashira, Love Hashira. We'll just say that.
Because I get the either because in my head it's either Ron Koji or Kanroji. I can't remember. It's one of the two.
It's Kanroji. It's a K.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure because Rengoku, Kanroji, she was under Rengoku, so Kanroji. I'm pretty sure. But for her it makes sense because the gang, Genya, Tanjiro, and Nezuko had to be the ones to take out that Upper Moon because it's going to propel their story along. But also too, the Love Hashira is obviously important. All the Hashira are. Um, but yeah, I wish they gave her more time to shine as well. But for what we did get, it was pretty cool. Fucked up too that that before this nobody wanted to marry her because they didn't like her hair. I was like, what the hell? You guys are insane. She's so pretty. And that pink hair is awesome. I don't know. So yeah, I'm glad she had a nice childhood, not something super depressing.
I mean, I know it's because basically, like, she's cool, but her plot kind of boils down to, in some ways, like, oh, it's like none of us are cool enough to handle like a bad bitch. Basically.
Pretty much. And then the reason why she joined the Demon Slayer Corps was because she wanted to find a man who was stronger than her or as strong as her to marry. And it's just like, okay, she's a bad bitch. What can I say? And she ended up becoming a Hashira because nobody was stronger than her besides the Hashira. So I think it's funny. And then there was something else. Oh yeah, and then like what was I gonna say? Oh, I had a theory though. I had a theory. So far, every intro for Demon Slayer, it has Hashira and it has Tanjiro. Well, every time when they show up in the intro, right? They're like doing like side by side or whatever. And they do a switch up. If a Hashira is going opposite to him, they die. If they're going the same side as him, they're living that season. Because I noticed when the Rengoku season happened, Rengoku went opposite of Tanjiro and he died. But then every season now, all the Hashira are going with Tanjiro and none of them have died. So that's my theory. I think if they're showing that in the intro, if they're going the opposite, then they're going to die. And if they're not, they're going to live. So I'm very curious if that's going to come up again in these movies when they have their own, like, if they do like a musical intro, if they're gonna if they're gonna show that. That's my theory. It's a game theory.
I know this is like an intentional mystery, but I am curious about the whole like ancestral inherited memories thing they're doing, the connection between the red haired samurai from the past, the swordsmith robot with the six
Dude,
arms, and the man in Tanjiro's memories that uh, may or may not have been at his birth, or may just be like a far distant received idea,
well,
like that story arc.
dude, I've talked about this in a previous episode, but it's crazy. Around the time, people were like, "Oh, that's Tanjiro's dad. That's Tanjiro's dad." Okay, they literally say right after this that like an episode that the machine that the swordsman that it's based off of died 300 years ago. I was like, that can't be Tanjiro's dad because that would make his dad 300 years old. Also, too, we saw Tanjiro's dad. These two guys look completely different. And then not only that, we're seeing it through the eyes of one of Tanjiro's ancestors. So I'm like, okay, this adds to the mystery because it's very obvious that this swordsman and this guy are not related because the guy says he has no no descent. He doesn't have anybody inheritors or anything or children or descendants or whatever. So that means that they're not related. So I keep seeing this stuff of like this like, oh, Muichiro is a cousin of Tanjiro or maybe they're related. It's like they I don't think I think literally he somehow Tanjiro's family, the Kamado, learned the sun breathing technique, and then that's how they just pass it on. It's really sad. It made me really sad too when the guy was talking because he said like, "Oh, I was never able to do anything. Like, I was never able to complete my mission. My name is worthless as I am." I started like getting teary eyed. I was like, "Fuck, dude!" Like, I don't think he had any children. I think it was literally this family that Tundra belongs to. They carried on his legacy. That's also why they have his earrings because they didn't want him to be forgotten. I'm just like, fuck, like, damn, man. So I'm very excited to see how we get this resolved.
Mhm. And I know this is probably the coldest Demon Slayer take, but the revelation that I found out that the elemental flair to the attacks aren't really happening, that's bullshit, man. I'm sorry.
Dude, I found that out too. I'm like, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. That's no. It's casting light. They're adding light. Like I know that's an animation thing, but I'm like, no, they have magical powers. Shut up. And like you said before, it's like let's just put it up front. They are superhuman. They are.
Because like literally to get into the dance, Conjuro had to split a rock, like a massive boulder, top to bottom, just to be able to apply to the fucking core. And that again, like, how many times has Chandra been like brutally injured? This motherfucker is like right under Mark from Invincible, and just how much horrible injuries he takes. And
The
then just
poor
like, oh,
boy.
if I just deep breathe, like, I can stop a gaping hole in my chest, like a hemorrhage, like every bone in my fucking body being broken. But no, we're not superhuman. This isn't magic. Fuck off.
Like, bro, like if breathing could help me, I don't think I would be as anxious. But
I mean, breathing is known to help
no, I
soothe
know.
anxiety. So
I know.
maybe.
I'm just saying like, oh, if I could just like, if that could fix all my problems, I would just do that all the time. And I don't breathe all the time. I'm just
Hey, have you ever breathed in this magic item known as crack?
oh,
Yeah,
I'm
you'll
I'm
forget
listening.
all your woes, but you will lose everything you have.
But I'll be superhuman though, right?
Yeah, but you'd be like the Buddha. Like they don't have any possessions. Just smoke crack.
Hey,
You
you
know,
know
you
what?
know, I've often heard, Buddhism conflated with crack cocaine.
Hey, that's the life.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm imagining, like, I've been trying to think in my head, what's just today's episode's thumbnail going like? It's just like, here's Invincible, here's Tanjiro, here's the statue of Buddha with a crack pipe.
I think that might not be able to.
I don't know if that's really a good idea. What I do think is funny though is Invincible handing you a crack pipe.
I do like that too.
I don't.
No, wait. Or maybe it's a statue of Buddha with the open palm. One's a crack pipe, and the other is something else.
I don't know what is. Pat, why do you want us to have Buddha with the crack pipe?
Or okay, maybe one is Mark, going quieres, but instead of a blunt, it's a crack pipe, and Chandra just looking like, oh, I'm not sure if I could do this. I'm a good boy.
Yes.
Okay, Pat. I don't. Okay, listen, we're workshopping the thumbnail. We'll get to it later, but I'm just building some ideas on what, because we're just based off what we talked about so far.
It's gonna be a business baby edit on the episode image. Okay,
we're gonna have business baby, of course. Like business baby Memoriam episode.
Oh my god! Oh wait.
Moment of silence for business baby.
Actually, it'd be really funny. The name of the episode is gonna be "Rest in Peace, Business Baby." There we go.
Or half-mast for business baby.
Oh, you know what would be funny though? If we just throw up a bunch of characters. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Throw a bunch of characters on the image and have them all smoking a crack pipe.
Yes.
Yeah, crack breathing. Like at some weed store or some vape store, there's like a really hacky like print or T-shirt of like Tondro like blazed out, and he's like surrounded by smoke and shit.
And
like
his eyes are red.
Yeah, his eyes are red. Like he's fully like doped out, and like whatever. He has like a cup of.
No, sorry. Go ahead. I was just
like
out loud.
And like the scar on his head is like not red. It's like a weed leaf or something.
That's actually really fucking funny.
Yeah, TNTM, don't steal our hacky weed-based anime goods.
Pat, I think somebody's already done it.
Yeah, that might exist.
No, hold on. It would be actually really crazy. Let me think. I'm getting an idea. Tondro, his jacket is green with weed leaves, but his Demon Slayer mark is a weed leaf, and he's smoking a blunt, and his sword's green. This is so stupid.
Or like the flame guard that he got from Rengoku. It's a weed leaf instead.
Yes. Okay, what was my idea before? I'm trying to think. Okay, now I remember. My idea before was somebody had to have done this, where it's an edit of Tondro. He's on like the front of a t-shirt, and if anybody remembers season 2 when he's fighting Daki, he goes like super hard, and his eyes start bleeding. It's the same face. His eyes aren't bleeding though; they're red because he's smoking a blunt. I swear to God, somebody's done this. It's making me mad thinking about it. God.
Yeah, we have like Nezuko in the background, but instead of her like her bamboo shoot or mouth guard, she has like just a massive blunt like rolled up.
Oh my God!
That she has just like grip between her teeth.
That's exactly it. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So see, that's how we finally make money. Almost a decade in, we just make the most like minimal effort anime weeb pothead material.
Hey, it sells.
It sells. Apparently, we might actually make money. AYCH sells out, kind of.
I mean, listen. There's so many things that make me feel like, oh, this is just my old manism coming out. But I know there's people younger than me that think the same way. But apparently, there's another thing going on right now that people are like applauding any person that makes just any amount of money, regardless of the thing. Like it feels like younger people don't have a concept of selling out. It's like, oh, I'll join hands with Nestle water, and I'll make $100 million, even though Nestle is literally the devil in terms of a corporation. But everybody's like, yeah, get that bag, girl. You earned it, bitch. And it's like, you do realize she's getting like blood money for like, shaking hands with this water bottle company, right? But get the bag, I fucking guess.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. We said this. All the generations suck, so they're all fucking stupid. God. Um, but any more Demon Slayer talk? Because it's not my piece or it's not my moment. Obviously, it's yours, but I'm glad you're catching up on it. I'm very excited, like you. The first movie of this trilogy comes out September 12th or
12th.
14th. 12th.
Yeah,
Okay.
December 12th in the States.
Yeah, of this year. So very excited for that.
Hopefully, it has a quick turnaround. I don't want to wait every single year for a movie.
Yeah, me and
Because
Colt
I was thinking, like, how soon are we gonna get this? It's gonna be like one a year, or like, oh, like here's a new movie every 2 years, because like the last one doesn't drop to like 2029 or some shit.
Like, like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, we think here that animation should take its time,
Yes.
but like on our like fanboy side of our brain, we're just like, we really want the next two movies in the same year because we're so excited. So obviously, take your time, but
Yeah, we don't want any more crunching than what's currently happening in the anime industry.
yeah, I don't want to hear any more bullshit about people saying, "Oh, the animation's bad." Oh, like unless it actually is bad, then sorry.
I mean, yeah, animation can be bad, but most of the time when people are like, this animation sucks, they're delusional.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the first little bit of Sakamoto Days. It's not bad, you dumb jackasses. It looks fine.
Yeah,
Actually good.
it's serviceable.
Yeah, I will say, like, you guys don't know bad animation until you've seen the second season of One Punch Man or X Arms or
Bitches today don't know about X-Arm. Get up on some X1 and you'll know some fucking bad animation. You'll know
yeah.
bad CG animation too. That's the problem. Another thing, they have not experienced a depth of material to make an informed decision on bullshit.
Like I would say we have much more experience because we've actually sought out stuff that is bad. So it's pretty easy for us to tell what's bad and good.
Kids these days just have better quality 3D modeled animation. Like they don't know the pains of the bad 2000s to 2015 3D animations. Or even Beast Wars. That shit was ugly as hell.
Like, don't get me wrong, Beast Wars had a great story, but the animation was bad. And not only that, that's so funny that you bring that up, Colt, because somebody was comparing Invincible to Beast Wars, and it made me so mad. I was like, okay, Invincible animation is not only serviceable, it's good. Don't compare it to Beast Wars. I do recommend people watch Beast Wars, but Beast Wars animation was bad. It was bad. It was charming for the time, don't get me wrong, but it was bad. I said this before too. They need to make another Beast Wars. Reboot Beast Wars. Give us another show with good animation. Give it to us. I will kill you if you don't give it to us.
Yeah. Also, who in chat remembers Handshakers? A raise of hands.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that
We
is.
watched it for the show. Like, go back to one of those early anime reviews and be like, "Hey, remember the episode where like they just had like girls as like their stand weapons, and there's like CG chains flying faster than the human eye can perceive in a completely different like speed than the rest of the show. Like that was like crazy. Talk to
Oh my
like to quote T.S. Madison, until your resume matches mine, hush.
Okay, now I remember.
God, their heads are so big. Just looking at the poster, their proportions look weird. Fuck
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I remember this.
I'm watching a GIF right now of a fight scene. Wow. I don't want to hear anybody. Oh my God, you're making me mad now, Pat. I do not want to hear anybody talk about bad animation or bad Invincible animation. I mm, I mm, I don't care that they don't animate every single detail of somebody flying. Okay, sorry, we're going back to a little bit of Invincible discourse. This pissed me off so much because that was the thing that people talk about is it's like, oh, it's just they're just moving a PNG across the screen. There's no movement, there's no detail. Okay, first off, no animation studio can animate the detail like Ryan Otley does in his comics. Nobody can do that. If they did, we would not get it for 20 years. The person would have spent 1/4 of their lifetime finishing one episode of animation. That's insane. Like, no, don't do that. Also, second thing, they talk about, oh, they're not showing like it's just PNGs. Okay, first off, when they're flying, their hair and parts of their body are moving very little bit. Also, too, they're not birds. They don't have wings because the people were complaining, oh, they're flying in a straight line. Nothing that flies does that. D- you telling me that a fictional human being that can fly without wings, without planes, you're telling me that they can't fly straight? You're telling me that something that doesn't exist in the real world, you're telling me the mechanics and physics of something that doesn't exist in the real world, that for the most part isn't possible for us, you're telling me that's not real?
When I think of pretty much every superhero that has the ability to fly without wings, I can only picture them flying in a straight path like
They only
Superman.
they only fly in a straight path. That's what they do. You know why? Because they don't there's nothing like I can't come at this at a scientific standpoint, but it's literally
Well,
they're
neither did they, because they're all just dumbasses who are just
I
like
know.
pulling it out of their non-existent hair here. I mean, like, like motherfucker, let me see them credentials. Where is your blue sky bio with like I have a doctor in fucking dick and ball technology that can tell like why isn't this dog like reacting the same way in a lycra spandex in this fucking cartoon show? Eat my ass.
Like it's just like okay, like again, the wings. It's like and luckily I saw some people saying like they don't have wings because if you watch a bird fly, when they're flying, they're moving. You know, their whole body's moving because that's what they do. But then when they glide, they're kind of standing still. The only thing that moves is really their feathers when they're gliding. These guys aren't gliding. Not only that, they don't have flight organs. They don't have wings. They don't have any special other organ that helps them fly. They say in the show the Viltrumites they fly because they don't need leverage. Their body is whatever. So they can fly off anything. So, like, I mean, that kind of explains it there, but then also too, the fact is that, like, again, this isn't real. We don't have a set thing for this. So, I mean, we're not gonna sit here and animate their whole every muscle of their body or anything moving. That just doesn't make any reasonable sense to do that. It just doesn't. And if you argue, I'm sorry, if you argue against that, you are legitimately stupid. I am taking the high ground here. I will fight you to death. You are stupid. You don't know what you're talking about.
And like,
Gee,
hey, if you want like a high like every single episode or instance in a movie or TV show that have like an unreasonably high level of fidelity, you gonna pony up that cash? No, Mister Money Pig, because yeah, I'm sure we love to have Invincible have the same level of fluidity as whatever your favorite fucking anime is that you've seen three of, but odds are it's just not going to get it may probably have the same level of budget, and even for the budget it has, it's still very solid. So please spare me your you know penny candy thoughts about XYZ media.
absolutely. Exactly. Like, yeah. Um Demon Slayer has good animation though. I mean, I'll
Yep.
Oh
say
yeah,
that.
there's like the people that I don't think I've seen anybody really shit talk Demon Slayer's animation because it's just good. It is.
I
Yeah.
it is crazy though, because Pat brought it up at the beginning of this conversation, is that some people shit talk Demon Slayer more than I thought. I didn't realize how many people didn't like Demon Slayer. I'm just like, whatever, dude. I don't know.
I mean, I've seen plenty of like Demon Slayer is carried by his animation. Like I've seen that like that ad nauseum. Like, I mean,
Oh yeah,
I
the
mean,
story is kind of just straightforward. It's kind of bland, I will say that, but it's still good.
I don't know.
Like, it's not revolutionary, but it's still like solid. And like, listen, I've been reading manga and watching animes since 2003, like over 20 years. Like, if I can get into it and still like legitimately enjoy it, even if it's not like the most like, you know, groundbreaking thing, like it's still good. Like, come on. I mean, obviously everybody has their opinions, and that's totally fine. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Qualitative statement, but like, come on.
Yeah, like I I don't know. I think that fantasy aspect that Pat you bring up, that hook, I don't know, it gets me. I'm fascinated by it. Not only that, I think the characters are written very well, very good. I mean, it literally doesn't matter. You show me their backstory or whatever, I will cry. It's because I it just gets me. Um it just hooks me emotionally. And so I don't, and then I see where people talk about like, oh, every character has a sad backstory, somebody dies or whatever. It's just like, I mean, you don't really say that though about real people because real, real people die, like they lose families and loved ones. People say, oh my gosh, like why do all these people lost someone they love? Oh, that's so annoying. I just don't care, or I just can't really get sad anymore. It's just like, okay, you unfeeling asshole. Like, so you like when I see that, I'm just like, oh, you're just desensitized or unfeeling. I don't care about what you fucking say. Get out of here. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and like, is it surprising to me that most of the people in this organization committed to fighting monsters has been, negatively affected by the monster that they're fighting in some capacity? That's the reason why they're
They
involuntarily joined this like dangerous affair. Like, what a surprise!
Yeah, they say that too. They're like, everybody in the Demon Slayer Corps has lost somebody. That's why they're all there.
It's
Besides
like, if you
Kanroji.
don't have a sad backstory, like, and odds are you're not gonna make it far. Because like, what was it? There's a bit at the very beginning of the series where a demon slayer is like, "I'm gonna do this for money because they pay hell crazy," and then he gets like his head chopped off immediately by the spider guy.
Yeah, like if you're not one of the virtuous, or obviously like we see later with Kanroji or whatever, you're not gonna make it far. Like you said, that's done on purpose. Yeah. uh wow. Sorry, we
Yeah,
just
welcome to the Demon Slayer Invincible talk show,
this is
everybody.
pretty much, this is crazy. We talked a lot of I mean, I, do we want to still keep going? Are you guys feeling that, or
I mean, we can keep going if
okay, okay? I'm just asking. I just want to gauge the room. Does anybody like need to do anything or anything, or we can just keep going?
no,
Let
I'm
me
still good.
let me take a little pee pee break if that's okay.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I can edit this out, so it's fine. Go ahead.
All right, just a sec.
Edit and penis sounds.
That's what I'm gonna do. Have you checked your stocks recently?
Yeah, all my stocks are up except for my balls. They're always down.
Hell yeah, dude. You gotta keep those things down. I put tape at the end so that it's always pulling on them. Balls down, never up.
Splat.
Whoa.
Ugh.
How was your pee-pee?
Apple juice yellow, just like always.
Yeah.
All right. We got a healthy baby boy.
My favorite's when it's the same color as red clay.
Now, if I'm real lucky, I can make it look like Pepsi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love it when I can get mine Mountain Dew green.
Oh.
Ooh, irradiated.
I
Yeah.
love it. The bile.
All right. But
Make sure the PP talk stays in.
I
Yes,
will.
please.
I will. No, it was funny. Colt said it. It was like edit PP peeing sounds into this break. If I could, I would. I don't know. Maybe I could.
I mean, just record you as the sound of you pouring like a cup of water into the toilet.
Whoa, this is getting really DIY.
Damn,
It's Foley.
I should have just brought my phone with me in the bathroom and just held it near my junk while I pissed.
You know, you're right though, Colt. I could literally do. I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
We're getting real DIY in this bitch. Hell yeah. My
Yeah.
first. This is gonna be my first film credit. They're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, he worked on sound for the episode 387 of the All You Can Hear podcast."
Yeah, sound design, Foley work.
um, Speaking of watching stuff, though, recently me and Colt had our second or third triple.
We've done a
feature.
decent amount of triple features of this year, I think.
And it's only March.
No, I think we've done a few double features. I don't know about triples.
Let's consult the letterbox.
2. This is our third one.
I was right. Okay. Yeah, so this is our third triple theater feature, and it was pretty good. It was first we watched The Rule of Jenny Penn. Second thing we watched was Queen of the Ring, and then third final thing we watched to end the night was the Mickey 17.
I don't. This was a very fun day. Jenny Penn, since that was the first one, we might as well talk about it. That shit was hilarious. John Lithgow, I don't think he's acted ever when it comes to him in villain roles. I think he's just fucking insane. Like in this movie, he plays a crazy old fuck that has a little baby doll puppet on his hand, and that baby doll's name is Jenny Penn. And he just goes around harassing these people in this old folks' home. It's pretty great.
It's okay. Colt says that it's really bad,
but it's fucking funny.
It's crazy. No, I remember saying this forever ago that I thought it was weird since I've watched so many movies now where John Lithgow plays a villain. I'm just caught off guard by it because I'm like, I just know him as this sweet old man from like Interstellar. But then I realized most of his roles, I think he plays a villain.
Yep.
Well, plus, like he's very well known, as a comedic actor as well, and usually people with like really good, well, obviously depending on the person, but like usually like people who are very skilled comedically can translate that very well into a very very skilled dramatic actor, and like he's done plenty of like mixed roles, like where he's funny and the bad guy, like when he was Lord Farquaad in Shrek.
I did not realize that.
Yep. Yeah, I realized, I was like, oh my god, this is actually what he usually plays, and it's so funny. He can play a dastardly dude, and this movie is no exception. The Rule of Jenny Penn is a very it's basically the reign of terror in this.
Now who rules Jenny Penn? Now lick her asshole.
That is a slight spoiler. So what he does is when he goes to the people he really harasses, he brings Jenny Penn, the little doll, to their chest, and he asks that question, and then they say Jenny Penn, and then he turns his wrist over because that's supposed to be Jenny Penn's asshole. He's like, now lick her asshole, and then they lick his wrist, and he's
very
like,
very wet sounds.
It's so wet, and like too, like it's just like it's just a really good. I don't know. I thought the story was incredible. Like kind of this like I love these stories kind of focused on old people and how they're pretty much mistreated by society generally as a whole, besides obviously certain places, but generally it's old people are just they're not listened to, they're treated as children, and it's really sad. And especially when the guy we follow, played by Jeffrey Rush, is who is a former judge who has a stroke and he has to be put in this home to recover. Nobody listens to him because since he's had a stroke, they just assume that he's
It's not there anymore.
he's not there
Yeah.
anymore. Everything's like lucid, he's just not, so like they just don't believe him. And it's just like really just insane. Now, I will say, like, in terms of logic though, like certain things like you find out later that's just like, okay, the staff should know about this, but whatever.
Also, maybe you should probably hire more people. Like, where is the staff at, gang?
To be fair about that, old folks homes, nursing homes, they are always understaffed. That is actually something that's like legit. They're always understaffed. It is a tough job, but then at the same time, it's just like, well, maybe I don't know. Uh, I just think there's definitely some things that need to be done better, and that is how to treat them. Like don't.
And plus, like, there's the whole thing of like, if old people in a lot of ways are treated as like the living dead, it's like, I don't want to touch the dead. I don't want to touch the old people, deal with old people. So like, it makes sense that like, yeah, there's not gonna be a lot of people around to like, take care of or want to put up with this. That's the reason why old folks home exists. It's like, oh, we don't want to take care of you, or at least in like in the American culture. Just voice them off and someone else to take care of it. It's not your problem anymore. So yeah, obviously there's a little like horror movie like, you know, uh massaging of reality in terms of like, okay, how will this happen and nobody make me qualify. Why is this? How can people keep dying horribly in this old folks home and no one said anything, or this old man just gets away with all this murder and shit? It's like, well, maybe it's not as far fetched.
That's my thing. That's what I really liked about it. I was like, this really isn't as far fetched because I mean, this is kind of what it's not exactly what it's like, but it's like there's a lot of shitty nursing homes. So who knows what's goes on? I mean, goddamn, like it's a common thing for nursing homes to have rampant STDs because all of the old people are having sex with each other. Like like goddamn, dude. And like you said, like they're treated as the living dead or they're treated as children. Nobody wants to deal with them. Um, but for some reason everybody wants to have children. Everybody wants to, teach elementary school, but nobody wants to deal with old people. Like
No one wants to teach elementary school.
Colt.
I mean, and like also like, are they really teaching? Because if like literature or like reading is basically just vibes based at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
what are we really doing?
Yeah. No, you say that, Colt. Don't get me wrong. You're not wrong because once people start teaching elementary school, I know a lot of people don't want to teach it anymore. I know when I was going to school, I know so many people who were like, "Oh, I want to be an elementary school teacher." Like that's what they do. And then next thing I know, I hear or I see from them and it's just they talk about how fucking awful it is. I'm just like, okay, just because they're children and they're all cute and stuff, that does not make them not monsters. Okay. It's
It doesn't
like,
help that the current culture we are in American education is fucking dog shit. And
yeah.
becoming a teacher, not just elementary, but middle, high school,
Oh yeah.
any group of kids teaching, I don't know
It's
how
hell.
anyone can do that.
It's hell. No, it's hell.
Will
And
we even
like,
will we even have a an education department in by the end of this 4 years? I mean,
I don't know.
if Mrs. Vince McMahon is now the head of the Department of Education.
That's funny because Vince McMahon was in one of the movies we
He was
watched.
also in one of the movies. That's funny. But no, like, and then to kind of also go off that too, that like also too, people don't want to deal with young people as well. Teach them properly or do anything about that. So it's a lot. But no, the rule of Jenny Penn was just I think for me personally, it was incredibly like horrifying and fascinating. This kind of like micro um what's the word I'm trying to use here? It's like a version of the
Ecosystem,
world.
micro world that kind
Like
of is it's contained into like an old folks home.
yeah, that's like representative of basically like the world at large. It was really good, and John Lithgow was again incredible. Like there was a lot of good like there was these scenes I really enjoyed, which he was dancing. That was demented. It was great. I think the role of Jenny Penn is underrated. I think more people need to see it.
I really want a little hand puppet thing now because it looked really fucking funny.
Yeah, where's the merchandising? How can we get the rule of Jenny Pin at your home? Like that's the box set. It comes with the little baby puppet and like the extra pre-release order now digital physical edition combo pack.
I would. You know what? If I could get a little baby hand, the thing is though, you could make your own. It's actually pretty easy. It's just a standard baby. All you have to do is gouge its eyes out and then remove the main body, sew the arms into like a cloth and the head, and there you go. You have a hand puppet.
See what they could have done, with the big like movie stuff that they did with Smile. They go to an old folks home, have a craft lesson for the elderly, where they make their own Jenny Pin doll, and then we'll see which one turns into the Joker.
Well, I will say it was the reason why he even has a Jenny Pin doll is because we see in the movie that they had a puppet making lesson. So he made that himself. It's wow, very very on the spot. But yeah,
I do think it's funny that there is a horror movie featuring elderly people where the monster is not just like the elves are just decrepit and ghastly creatures, and that's kind of the bit. That's the joke. It's just like the old man, the old person, or it's like just the shock of seeing like an elderly body that is terrifying, which we kind of saw run its course over the last couple of years in horror, but so it's a little bit different in this context.
yeah, and like and then not only that that the elderly, especially somebody like John Lithgow, like again, people assume like, oh, they're running their course, they're not all there, they're not going to be as um as clever, uh but like you see in the movie that like that's not the case. John Lithgow's character is like they're the same age. And I mean, the dude's clever. The dude is is manipulative. Like it's like don't don't cut them oh god, I'm trying to think of another phrase. What like don't cut them out yet. Like they can still be quite capable. Especially what we find out later in the movie is like, dude, what is going on in this place? It's yeah, it's really good. I like I said, I recommend it. I gave it 4.5 out of 5. I thought it was great. Like really, it's underrated.
I gave it 4. I enjoyed it a lot.
Very nice. The trailer had me intrigued when I watched it on Instagram a few weeks ago, so I'll keep that in under recommendation.
It was, by the way, it was Shutter was a part. I think Shutter's part of the publisher or distributor or whatever. So it's gonna come to Shutter. So
Yeah,
you'll be
very
able to watch
nice.
it. Yeah. Um, but the next film we watched was Queen of the Ring, directed by Ash uh Avildsen. Um, this is based on the true story of one of the first or one of the big names in wrestling, female wrestling at that. And it's what's her name? Mildred Burke, and it's about her and basically like from where she started up until most of her life, pretty much. Well into like her son being like an adult, and she's played by Emily Bett Rickards, who I did not realize is the same actress who plays Felicity Smoke in the CW DC universe. She
Oh, she plays the girl with the glasses on the computer.
Yeah, I
I
did
did
not.
not clock her for a second.
Me either. I did not recognize her. She looks completely different. She's a curly brunette hair. She is a muscle mommy. I was like, every time she flexed, I just couldn't help but smile. I'm like, damn, she's beautiful. I man. Um Surprisingly too, Walton Goggins was in here. I didn't
Oh,
realize that.
we got Goggins Goggins alert Goggins
We got
news.
a Goggins. We got a Goggins alert. Every time I hear him though, I think of Cecil from Invincible as well. So But he was pretty good. He wasn't in there much, but he was in there quite a bit. Another big name is Tyler Posey, if anybody remembers him from
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf. Yes,
Wow.
he plays the son of John. So John Lucas plays Billy Wolf, who's the person who got Burke's start, but is like also very uh terrible, horrible person. But he's also one of the few people. It even says in the film, as bad as he was the one person that got people to take women's wrestling serious. So it's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of muddied waters when it comes to wrestling. There's a lot of terrible people, but there's also a weird, unfortunate thing that happens where a terrible person can end up accidentally doing something good, and you're just kind of like, that's a slighter shade of black when it comes to certain parts of or aspects of the wrestling community.
Oh yeah. And then another quick name I wanted to say that really surprised me was Deborah Ann Wool was in it. She played Gladys Gillum.
That name sounds familiar.
She's Karen Page in Daredevil.
Oh no shit. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
She was I mean, she was pretty good. I think she's a great actress. So I was really surprised. I was like, oh wow. Um, but
I
yeah,
will say, there are some good names here. The only good acting in this movie, in my opinion, was Walton Goggins. Everything else was not great. It was either super overacted or very underacted. It felt like a parody of a biopic. It didn't feel good a lot, and it was very funny a lot as well.
Like
dude.
unintentionally funny, you mean?
Unintentionally, 100% unintentionally funny.
Yeah. Me and Colt talked about this. Queen of the Ring was really we were really interested in this. I've been interested in it because I've seen so much advertising for it, even though there was people here I didn't know were in it. So I've been very interested, and it felt like it was trying to be a documentary, but it felt so oh gosh, it felt so cheesy with like whoever wrote this, like not good writing for for whatever when they made this into a screenplay. It was very just it felt so flat, and like Colt said, it was like people were just I don't know, just not doing a good job. And it was like
And
2 hours long. It was so long of just uh
it felt like it was shot for TV. Like something
I know.
about like it just felt very off
I mean,
to just watch it.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw this come up on y'all's letterbox, I'm like, did they just like pull up Netflix to watch in between to break a movie? Because like it didn't look like this was a theatrical movie, just even from the poster. To be honest,
That's fair. When you point that out, I was like, yeah, this definitely feels like a movie that would go kind of straight to streaming. And I know that sounds kind of mean, but like, man, I don't know. It just I gave it 3 stars, but like even then, I feel like it's being kind of generous because, like Colt said, it just oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. There was a specific line in there. Oh my god. Okay, sorry, I remember it now. So in the very beginning of the movie, Josh Lucas's character Billy Wolf, they meet Walton Goggins' character, but it was so funny because he says Jack Peffer, the Mid Atlantic Tycoon. That like okay, you didn't have to. It was like literally like I can't believe it's like just give us the whole bio of this guy. It's like this is the Mid-Atlantic Tycoon Jack Peffer, the Jack Peffer. It's like okay, let's just let him, let's just show rather than actually tell. Like it's like
I mean, that,
they're just saying things that are happening on screen for us. Like we don't need that.
But
I know
like
that
a
that's
lot
been
of the
like a very big
actors,
criticism about like just general movies lately. It's just a lot of telling and not showing. Like, oh, like you're not when you just kind of like each character kind of just gives like their character bio and just dialogue instead of anything they're actually doing on screen.
Yeah, like it's like, oof, yeah. I it's so funny. And then, man, there was just some other really just cheesy lines. Like I can't remember off the top of my head. That one stuck out to me because I just thought that was so stupid. Like you didn't need to do that. He could have just said like, "Oh my God, that's Jack Pfeffer." It's like who's that? The Mid Atlantic Tycoon. No, he just unprompted says, "This is Jack Pfeffer, the Mid Atlantic Tycoon, Jack Pfeffer." Like okay,
Or have him with the belt that he's the champion of.
like
And it
it
felt
was.
like a lot of the actors, they took their acting tips from actual, like, WWE people. It felt like the acting was something you would see on WWE. And I thought a lot of the actors were wrestlers. Like, is that an actual wrestler? Because they suck at acting. Only like a couple of them were actual wrestlers. Someone named Tony Rossall is a wrestler. They had Jim Cornette. I know that name.
Mhm.
The infamous Jim Cornette. Or,
Uh, there's a
well,
bunch of
Jim
others
Cornette's
in there
not.
too.
He's a wrestling manager. He's not a wrestler himself, but he's
Yeah,
very much entrenched in wrestling.
but still, it's not good acting with WWE. But if you're into that stuff, you like it.
I
I
mean,
didn't.
you don't come to it for like that, for like, oh wow, gravitas,
Yeah.
pathos.
I didn't realize the director actually plays Vince McMahon Senior. I didn't realize that.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, and they fucking bring up Vince McMahon Jr. as well, just to say, this guy.
it was
I
the
don't
way.
think it
Yeah,
was necessarily a good light either. It was something like, yeah, his little shit of a son,
it kind of
something
felt
like
like they're.
that.
It felt like they were kind of they're trying to do like a Nolan reveal that just wasn't. That just wasn't really a reveal. It was just kind of like, oh my God, this is Vince McMahon Senior. Like, oh my God, okay, Colt, you kind of got it right there. It felt like they were trying to imitate wrestling acting, but like for the whole movie rather than actual wrestling in the ring. It was, yeah, it was. I mean, I still at
I thought
least
the
think
wrestling was good though.
the wrestling was fun. Absolutely. Also, too, the woman who plays June Byers. I told Colt this. Who is it? Kaylee Dawn Latimer. Oh, she is an actual professional wrestler.
Oh, because about to say, like, I can of the wrestlers in here, like we have, like Tony Robinson. We have Naomi, or she's credited under her real name, Trinity Fateau. Tony Robinson, Tony Russell, and then Mickey James played the fabulous Moolah. Like, yeah, this was like, and Britt Baker, uh, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, the wrestling dentist. Y'all saw her when we watched AEW back in the day.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Wow. I don't remember her.
She might have had a very incidental role in the movie because
No,
like she's kind of further
yeah.
down the cast list here. I'm looking on Letterboxd.
But that's crazy because the woman who plays June Byers, I mean, she was there for more of the movie than Britt Baker. That's weird.
yeah.
But no, I was gonna say though is this woman Kaylee Dawn Latimer, um, her chin. I swear to God, I'm so sorry. Her chin. It felt like she could cut diamonds with it. I was like, that chin is gonna hit somebody and it's gonna hurt. Not
It's,
her.
it's gonna
Somebody
bust him
else.
wide open.
It's gonna hurt so bad. I think she did a good job at playing a heel actually, and a villain in this movie. Very, she was she was pretty good. Yeah, I thought it was fine. Did not need to be 2 hours and it says 10 minutes, but it was 2 hours and 15 minutes. 2 hours and 15 minutes. No, no.
Also,
Let's stop
tack
that.
in fucking trailer times. It was a long. It was a long sit.
It was a long sit, yeah. But I gave it 3 stars. Like I said, I still liked it, but yeah.
Yeah, same thing. 3 stars.
But the movie that we've been anticipating for a while now is Bong Joon-ho's Mickey 17 that we watch at the end. It was fantastic. Bong Joon-ho does it again. Robert Pattinson, Naomi Ackie, Stephen Yeun, which is really funny. I only hear Invincible now. Mark Ruffalo, Toni Collette, Anna Marie Bartolome. This is the first time I've ever seen her, but she was good. I feel like there's somebody else I'm missing, but those are pretty much the main stars here. Just incredible cast. Incredible movie. Very funny. Very cool sci-fi concepts, honestly. When we get introduced to the native species of the planet that they're going on. That's not a spoiler, by the way. They're in the trailer.
What? They're in space?
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's just a great time. Really good at exploring like also to the ethics of like, cloning and like, which ones if are they considered people or are they considered the original person? Like, I thought it was very fascinating. If you want my stance, I say every time a clone is popped out, they're a different person.
Yeah, I agree.
Then they are human and they are individuals and they deserve rights.
They're human that just happens to have the same DNA as another person.
Let's not do the Clone Wars.
I don't know. It might be cheap.
I don't know. War is a business, Wenzel. You have to think smart.
Look, I'm thinking I think I could like sell my entire identity, but still me. It's not me, man. I'm me. Not me. That's not me. I'm me.
Okay, Colt, how much money would you pay to give the War Machine in the military industrial complex your face and DNA to make expendable clones for warfare?
How much would they have to pay me? Or
yeah, how much would they have to pay you? He's like, Colt, you are going to be the blueprint of the soldier of the future. They just drop out of an Apache helicopter and they have a briefcase full of money with more on the jet. How much are you going to take, to get that bag and not, and sell out to your military industrial complex?
Thank you for coming to me, the most #1 aesthetic health person in the entire world.
Well, I assume they're gonna genetically alter them as well. They just need your blueprint. You're basically the IP.
Okay. Yeah. Oh man, morally bad. But money.
Okay, well, let's calm down a second. Like morally bad, but like, come on.
See, that's the only disclaimer you need when you go on Blue Sky the day after this gets mysteriously leaked to the greater internet. You just listen. I don't approve of them using my body to kill millions of people in other countries, but this new. Do you see my new gaming rig right now? I don't have to piss or shit anymore. It just sucks it right out of me.
But let's be real though. That's on the government. Okay, they took the DNA of a poor regular dude like Colt, and he wanted to escape like not he wanted to have financial security. Like, okay, like let's attack the real people here, the government and rich people.
Listen, I'm not a bit. It's like I'm a bad guy. I'm a victim.
$1 billion. $5 billion.
Like that's my thing on it. I'm just like, all right, like
hey, I'd give you guys $1 billion each, so you keep your fucking mouth shut. Don't tell anybody,
dude. Okay, if they came to me, I would give you guys money as well. Like, come on, dude. Like, let's not hype up people who are already well off and be like, oh yeah, get that bag. It's like, okay, let's calm down. What about actual people who are poor, who are doing their best and trying to survive in this hellscape? Like, and then also too, it's like you're not like they asked for your your DNA or your blueprint or whatever. It's not like like, oh yes, I want to give this I want to give them soldiers. It's like no, man, you're just you want money, you want to be well off, you don't want to have to worry.
I want an entire army that has an absolutely fucked up spine and can't lift heavy objects. That's what I want as my super soldier.
Well, good news, Colt. With your DNA being squirted into a soldier-shaped tube, they're also going to put the exoskeleton from that Matt Damon movie on top of them to help them out with their sciatica.
Oh fuck! Why can't I get that? I could probably buy it. I got $5 billion.
You could.
It's like, hey, get me one of them spine jackets from Elysium.
I would so take that in a heartbeat. You don't even know.
Well, I'm just still thinking about what Pat said. Squirt it into a soldier-shaped tube.
Yeah, it's like one of those old those wax figurine things from like the 50s where you put like a little bit of money in, you get a little wax figure.
I just like to think though they have like a turkey baster. They put it in the butthole of this thing, just.
It's like, hey, y'all remember creepy crawlers? We got this shit, but big.
And then just the Colt that's forming is forming them into the mold. Like, okay.
Yeah, like there's like a really like gaunt, disheveled like Colt clone, and he's just like shoveling like a snow shovel full of like other like just like the unrefined Colt glop that comes out of the machine, and he heaves it into the easy bake Colt oven as he just like it's a living.
One of them.
Turns out that's me.
See, you got mixed because they take you they take Colt on a tour of the Colt soldier factory, but he gets lost, and they think he is just one of the errant clones that got out of the assembly line. It's like, no, I'm the original. But no, they put him back. They don't listen to him. They put him to work, and he's lost in the factory, and he can't get out because no one believes he's the real one. It was like, oh yeah, you're the real Colt. You're the original Colt. Okay, back to shoveling the Colt glop into the furnace.
Pat, I'm gonna have to tell you, TM that. TM that.
TM.
That's actually interesting. I'm gonna have to cut that. I don't want people to steal that idea. That's actually a really good
don't steal our idea for Colt 17. That's proprietary material.
God, we haven't even talked about the movie. Mickey 17 was really. I did talk about it a little bit. I don't want to spoil it. Like, watch it. Me and Colt were very surprised that there weren't many people at the theaters. Like,
it felt pretty dead for a weekend of that Mickey 17th coming out. I feel like a movie like this, people would be booming to go watch it.
Especially too, like after having previously done Parasite and with its critical acclaim, I would assume that more people would be excited for Mickey 17 and Bong Joon-ho, Robert Pattinson. Like, but yeah, I mean, for us anyway, it was just nobody really was really there. But no, it was oh gosh, what can I say? It was really everything I wanted it to be, and covered like a lot of as much sci-fi stuff as I'm interested in. Robert Pattinson's a freak. Like,
oh,
I love
100%.
I love the dude. Like, I want to see him in everything now. I just want to see him whatever he does. I love him. He's really good.
I definitely appreciate now that we are kind of more aware of society of just what a strange little goblin person Robert Pattinson is, that we can kind of like he's more put in these sort of more left of field types of projects.
Yeah. I went back and listened to some of his lines for The Boy and the Heron. Again, the guy's awesome. Like, he does a really good, like, funny, like, sleazy voice for the Heron. Man, I need him for more voice acting. I need him for just more weirdo roles. Like, absolutely. I love this guy. I can't wait for Batman when it comes out. I really don't have anything to say about Mickey 17 other than that. I loved it. I think everybody should watch it, So I gave it 5 stars, of course. It's probably my second, I think, 5-star movie this year. Yeah, it's my second. Very good.
I agree. 5 stars. Fucking fantastic. I will watch anything that he makes because Bong Joon-ho is a fantastic director.
Oh yeah, he's so far I've only seen just out of the park. Great movies.
I'm glad that we're finally getting this movie. I know there for a while it's kind of like just kind of indefinitely pushed to some unknown date, but I'm glad that it's finally out there and it's getting its many legs out on the screen.
Yeah, you want me to turn it over to you, Pat? You got anything to talk about?
Ooh, maybe have a couple other things in my back pocket. Oh, well, I forgot. Because I will admit, we spent a lot longer on Invincible and Demon Slayer than I thought we would. So I was like, okay, do I still have as much to say about the other points I originally mentioned? But real quick, I will mention I've also been reading My Hero Academia Vigilantes. I picked it up pretty much on a whim at the library. Pat, PSA, support your local libraries. They have manga there now too. Ain't that crazy? Go to your library for real. We might not happen for much longer. But
Yeah.
Vigilantes, I'm enjoying. In some ways, I kind of feel like I'm enjoying it a little bit more, or at least in a different capacity than mainline My Hero. But story's fun. Just like a different perspective, and in the My Hero universe, art's great. Betancourt is a great artist. I love his sort of series run for this. I do feel like they're like the legal points that they make in the series. It I don't often kind of have like an ideological like clash with manga usually in there. So usually if I have like some wincing moment in manga, it's like it's a little too fan service or whatever. But like them kind of getting into if like vigilantes being bad because they break the laws and they're just as bad as villains seems a little too like you said earlier, like black and white. But most of the other heroes in the series are kind of like, yeah, they're fine. We just look the other way because newsflash, kids. Just because something is legal, just doesn't mean it's moral. So pin that to your little vision board for future reference.
Yeah, dude, I agree. I had a like you, I had a huge clash with that. That's the thing that frustrates me about My Hero is like what I like about Demon Slayer is that Tanjiro is generally a good boy and genuinely. And so like it's pretty like when some of the things that are happening there, it's pretty kind of not I'm trying to think of how the word like it, there are clear lines, but for the most part it's fairly straightforward and flexible, and there's a clear like with My Hero. Sorry, I didn't really complete that thought, but what I'm trying to say with My Hero though, it's like Deku is a good boy, don't get me wrong, but like he is so hard and inflexible. It's and like not only that, it's like the hero society in a whole is just so much like that. It's kind of frustrating. And like you said, it's like they're treating these vigilantes like they're villains as well. And I'm just like, if they are trying to help you, I don't think you need to do that. Like, there's no reason to.
There's a very clear distinction between like Shigaraki, who's like literally fucking disintegrating people and like stuff, and versus like, oh, here's the guy that's like picking up the trash on the side of the road and like doing like sort of the minor hero stuff.
Well,
So like,
it's because they use their power.
there's a big difference, yeah, and like, and obviously not to kind of run off on like kind of over analyzing like these sort of shonen manga, but I feel like there's a very clear distinction, and I don't know how much of it is in terms of like the worldview is this is intentionally kind of showing the inflexibility that comes with laws, or it's reflecting like a sincere viewpoint that the author has, and how much of it is informed by like general Japanese society and culture and views. Because like obviously that's something we can't discount. With like I don't know enough to make an informed decision based on Horikoshi's worldview, but like that is like something that I feel is kind of frustrating at times in this spinoff and in the main series versus like, not to be a One Piece glazer, but I love One Piece. But in One Piece, like the world government and the system that makes the rules, it's like unilaterally shown to be actively tyrannical. And the series is progressing. This isn't a spoiler. It's progressing to the point where the status quo as we know it will be thoroughly dismantled by the end of the series. And I feel like, the whole thing about the status quo is very much like present in the background of this story. It's like, oh, this is there's some kind of fun day-to-day adventures, but like that, there's just a little thing that kind of, it's a little bit of a rock in my shoe with the series. But I'm still very largely enjoying my time with the spinoff.
Yeah, good. Vigilantes, I've completed it. Me and Cole have both finished it completely. I still enjoyed it. I thought the ending was good. It's just some of that's frustrating, and then also too some of the story stuff with like how I some of the development of our main hero, the crawler.
Mhm.
I don't like him. I'm just like the way they wrote, like the way the author wrote him. It's just like he's a dumbass and he's a dipshit. Like that's so mean, but it's true because if you read it, there's just some things I'm just like, dude, you need to be more strict on this stuff. Like that's not cool. And but for the most part, what he becomes later, I think is fine. It's actually kind of neat. Um, but that, and then also too, like these kind of like giving some of these characters backstories. But the problem is at the same time, a lot of these characters like are already pretty established in the main line, so the backstories didn't really offer anything besides Eraserhead. If you're gonna read Vigilantes, read it for the Eraserhead backstory
And Igninium.
in Genium.
Yeah.
Infinium?
In Genium, or maybe it's Ingenium. It's one of those. Read it for
Ida's older brother.
Yeah.
Yes, Ida's older brother. Yeah, read it for that. You get some, All Might stuff, but he's really only there to be basically like, oh, what is it? Like a not get out of jail free card, but what's that thing? Like a MacGuffin or like uh,
Basically, he's like, when things get too severe, like, and there's no one in the cast that can logically and story make this sort of level of, like, say, All Might swoops in and he's sort of like
saves.
with the Sky Egg story arc, with the big, like, the fucking Tokyo Dome on top of the goddamn Tokyo Tower. Like, I don't know how structurally that fucking thing works, but
I don't
yeah,
know either.
which was,
That
I
was
mean, that was funny, but like, it's still like, how?
That was cool though, because what I do like about Vigilantes is that, so My Hero, even though we do know how strong All Might is, most of the time in My Hero, he's fighting against villains that are kind of on his level, right? Like All for One, mostly. Um, but then in this story, who he does fight, all the villains are like kind of lower than him, so we really get to see how much of a kind of a god All Might is. I mean, whenever, like you said with the Sky Egg, he was able to he literally lift that thing and took it to safety by himself, right? Like Captain Celebrity, Captain Celebrity had to give it to him pretty much because he couldn't hold it up the whole time. Um, and I enjoyed Captain Celebrity actually.
I do
Actually
like
enjoyed.
Captain Celebrity. I think, like, what you're alluding to earlier. There's like some characters who basically kind of get a a reintroduction to the main cast without really seeing their progression as characters. Of like, oh, you did this bad thing, or you had like a shitty start, and now you're back again, and there's not really like much evidence of like how you changed. But like Captain Celebrity, well, I do think some of his arc got a little shortchanged, but I do feel like there's more clear change of his character from of an actual arc from the time that he's present in the story.
Yeah, I agree. You're right though. He wasn't given that much, but for what we did get, it was pretty good. Um, I I I'm glad though. You're reading this too in prep for the anime that is coming. I am excited for that. I think that looks pretty good.
Mhm.
Um, I do think they need to make sure they need to have a hard line and say, "This is My Hero Academia Vigilantes," because every time you see a poster, it says My Hero Academia illegals. You can't have that. You can't say that.
Yeah, 'cause there's definitely some connotations that aren't going to fly, and other territories. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know at this point if Japan's going to change anything on their end when the marketing is called illegals, but I'm almost assuredly when it gets released in the state, they're going to keep the vigilantes subtitle
They
because
have to.
that's what the manga has already been branded as in the state. So it'd be weird to call it something completely different, just because honestly, I don't even know for sure if illegals is what it's called in the manga version in Japan. Like I
I
haven't
don't
looked
think
that
it is.
It
that deep.
is.
Okay. So it's called
It-
Oh,
the manga is called illegals in Japan, but
yeah.
for very prudent uh what's the fucking word when they when they adjust things for different well, like obviously cultural reasons why we can't call it illegals in America.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go
do
and
they
tell
not
you.
have a word for vigilante in Japanese?
Hold on, I'm gonna tell you. So the reason why I know this is because when I was logging this on Goodreads, when I was first reading this, I remember being weirded out because when you log it in one of the languages, I believe it's Japanese, it'll show Japanese, but then it'll show you the English translation. The English translation is illegals. Now then there's another part of that. It's called Vigilante Boku no Hero Academia Illegals. Um, but when you change it to English, it is vigilantes. Yeah,
So the word vigilante in Japanese is illegals?
no, because they have two separate words for vigilantes and illegals. The reason why they say illegals is because what they're doing is illegal in the manga. So
I mean, that's
illegal,
what the name vigilante implies.
I know, but illegal doesn't carry the same. Oh gosh, I'm sorry,
I mean,
I'm thinking about.
I see where Wenzel's coming from because and I guess in the Japanese version they're just sort of like using this is like this is extra legal activity they're doing. This is like they're to quote the heroes, but they're the illegal version, and like vigilante is like obviously more of a west. I mean, not that I don't have that concept in Japan, but just like obviously with like Western comics, most superheroes are quote vigilantes. So
Vigilantes.
that's
Yes, thank you, Pat. So basically, the idea, because a lot of My Hero is based off of Western superhero comics. So the idea here is that if they're saying vigilante, the thought is that vigilante is too close to hero because superhero, hero, and vigilante are the same thing. So for us anyway, the connotations here aren't the same as it is over there. So to differentiate, they have to say illegal so people know that what they're doing is illegal. Because if you say vigilante here, it's like, oh well, like sure we know that's illegal, but vigilante is like that's cool, that's normal for us. And because illegal over there doesn't carry the same connotation as it does here with what we're dealing with, even though that kind of carries almost everywhere now, but specifically here in America. That's why here in America it's called vigilantes specifically.
it's more about representing the idea that it's the word is getting across better than a literal translation. Because another thing fucking anime rotted people need to know is like sometimes it's okay we don't have a direct word for word translation. Sometimes you just get it, the idea is better than just like just a a direct translation because sometimes it doesn't that loses the meaning when you just
Yeah.
directly translate it to another language. Get the idea across better than the literal definition.
Yeah, and that name and that title, like it is more of a direct reference to the manga itself. Like
Mhm.
it's a reference to that. So that's why they had to put that in there for at least Japanese audiences. Um, they can't do that for American audiences, like I said.
Yeah, but Vigilante is good. I like it. Um, the other point I was going to get to was gambling on Mardi Gras this past week.
Oh,
I
Buck.
forgot it was. I forgot it was even Mardi Gras until I saw recently a few stories.
Yeah, because obviously the week recording because Mardi Gras was March the 4th, and there's a local bar that my partner and I go to fairly frequently, and he's friends with the owner. They had put up like a Instagram ad saying, "Hey, we're having Mardi Gras deals, come by." But I wasn't sure if we were gonna go out just due to there was also like a really big windstorm the same night. Like our
Yep.
power went out like 4 or 5 times that night.
It was crazy. It was,
But
it just knocked so much stuff was knocked down everywhere. The wind was crazy that day.
like our county and then a neighboring county, like thousands of people are out of power, and like there's like plenty of debris. But not that it impaired spirits that night, because my partner's like drinking buddy came over, and we were just sort of just uh chilling and drinking while the storm was going on. And then I guess after that we were certain that the storm was past. Just like they were just like, hey, let's go to that bar we had the Mardi Gras stuff. They had like $2 tacos, $2 tequila shots, and like a
Ooh.
lot of really cheap stuff. So we go in, not a lot of people there, obviously, because there was just a massive fucking storm. But they my partner and his buddy, they end up kind of getting enamored with like the video slot machine that apparently the bar had installed somewhat
Oh, no.
recently.
Oh, no.
Um, because
Bad
for
Pat.
what, hey, like, it wasn't my money. I didn't spend a fucking dime, and as we'll get to later, we didn't spend anything at all. But there's previously there's like a room that would be reserved for like parties, because you could rent out this space and have like a private party at this bar. But I guess they didn't get enough attention to that aspect, so they just kind of opened that for everybody, like a general kind of like lounge that's still open to the rest of the bar, but people can kind of go in and be a somewhat separated from, I guess, the general activity. So they have a couple like really dinky, like shitty, like kind of poker machines in there, but there's like two like better like video slot machines in this little like patio. It's like a nook, but shaped like a patio also. Like it's like that room kind of looks like a little miniature house inside of this bar. It's a little strange. And it's also right next to the DJ booth. So they start playing with it. There's 3 games. One was like a buffalo themed one was like a vaguely Lucky Dragon Chinese theme, and one was like this sexy devil girl theme. And the sexy devil girl game was like the one that had the easiest payout, because they're putting money into it and getting a fair amount of return back. But his buddy started playing it first, and he doesn't know a lot of English, so he was like, he would point to me to help him out with like when something lit up. Basically, if like there was one, if there was like one item off from having like a full, like a straight 3 of something, he would kind of tap me to get me to fix it for him. So we end up
Okay.
winning like a fair amount of money. Like our biggest single roll, like because we are all kind of taking turns playing it. Our biggest single like win from it was like $108.
Oh,
Ooh, wow.
But
place.
collectively, totally, we won like $156 from this
Ooh,
video slot machine.
wow.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
And we're
Gambling is
drinking.
good. That's the lesson.
If you can't tell, we're poor. We're poor.
I mean, because like honestly, I was like, we could like save that's $156 we didn't have to start of the night, but of course, they're not. This being a bar, they're not a casino. So, and in case you didn't know, for our out-of-state listeners, Alabama has very, very particular feelings about gambling. Always have been. So they weren't just going to give you straight cash that you won. Basically, the tickets were redeemable for merchandise only
Bah.
in the bar, which like obviously we can't just walk out. They're not going to fucking pay you $150 in hand and walk out. Like we knew that
No,
from the jump.
no. Yeah, of
Because
course.
but since 3 men drinking ended up totaling to be like $128, so we just turned our lottery winnings into clearing out our bar tab and gave our bartender a $30 tip, and we were like clean net zero for the night.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome. Hey,
Gambling's good. Like I said, man, this is a good lesson.
I agree.
It's like, hey, just gamble responsibly. Be responsibly irresponsible.
Well, I mean,
and always just know, like, you're always just right on the edge of hitting that diamond. You just got to keep going.
Man. Oh man, wait a minute. That reminds me of something. Oh my god. Okay, me and Colt are devils, by the way, if you couldn't tell. There was a scene in Mickey 17 that was so goddamn funny because it was basically an angel devil scene. Let's just say Robert Pattinson was doing drugs and he kept saying, "Kill him, kill him." It was so funny. Okay. Yes, gambling is good. I agree. Especially when you're restricted by Alabama's stupid laws. And I mean, you could like, dude, like if you win that much money, like, oh man, you could get so much food and like drinks. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it was funny, just like little moments, like because the run that we were on, where we won the $108, because we kind of maxed out, I guess, whatever the first initial level is. So you go to like a final like spin. Like, hey, this is the amount that you won. That's kind of over like the cap, I guess. So you can either, hey, you want to risk it and double, or X whatever multiply your winnings by. So I was like, okay, we won $50. Let's do the extra spin, and it lands on double. So we won the 108, and so like each time you would do like the extra in the game spin, it would like take off one or two of the wheel on that round, and like I literally had to like grab his buddy and say, "No, we're not writing any. Like we got $108. We're cutting out. We're cutting out." And like he's a big fella. I was like, "No, we're not doing this." And there'd be because that's a really like frightful round too, because we had like the biggest highs and lows. Because if you spun your roulette, or or excuse me, you did your little slots, and a little devil character would come up, he would come out and like delete like half your winnings or whatever, because that's kind of like because it was the kind of the easiest to rack up wins with. It has to have some counterbalance. So the little devil come out. But it'd be funny to hear my partner or his buddy say kind of under the breath, like "Pinche diablito," and that little fucker would come out and like zap all of our money.
That's incredible. I agree. I would shoot the machine if I saw that little guy.
And it's like, but hey, that's probably the best experience I've had gambling yet. So by thinking in bold, and my partner's like, "Oh, baby, we need to go to that whatever that big casino is place up near not it's about 30 minutes from here. I can't think what it is. It's near the Greyhound track." And it's like, do we have to? I think we did. Let's not get too big of our heads right now.
I mean, you didn't learn a negative lesson, Pat. There was no negatives.
That's not the point.
And like, they're probably not going to be as easy as this one. That's like that's why with the three of us go gambling, I need to be the McCoy or whatever, the one that reins in the Captain Kirk and whatever the last one is, Spock. So I guess I would be Spock, and he would be. No, like his buddy's definitely the most libidinous of the three of us. So we definitely need to rein him in. Then Eddie's my partner's in the middle. Then I'm the most level-headed, and that's in the gambling situation anyway.
No, I know Star Trek. I know this for a fact. Spock loved to gamble. Spock was illogical when it came to gambling. So,
it's like when sex. He only gets to gamble and fuck once every 7 years. So like all that. Logic goes out the window for a second.
Exactly.
My thing is never gamble. I never desire to do so. I know if I did, it wouldn't be good for my bank. But I will always say, you can do it. Come on.
See,
because just know, in that chance of they might win everything, or they might lose their house. I could get $20 for encouraging them.
See, that's
a gamble
the game
for you.
See, I didn't I didn't use a single dollar of my earnings. Like my partner and mostly his buddy fed that monster. So I'm like, hey, I'll be your wingman and tell you to back off or tip in because like I'll fucking ride the good train while it lasts. I mean I'm not an opportunist, but in this low stake situation, I think it's acceptable.
I know I said beforehand that it sounds like maybe I'm being an angel, but I really like to rhyme people. I am also a devil. So I'm gonna tell you, double it. Double it right now.
Hey, you know what? I think everybody's got a little angel and a little devil in them, just a little bit. Call me
Yeah.
crazy.
um I was gonna say something else, but I can't remember. I'm what it, yeah. But no, that's really cool and good for that bartender. I'm very curious about how that tip even works for them. But no, that's really cool.
Yeah. Also, another one of the many morals of today's episode: please tip the service workers. Please.
I'll think about it.
Okay, Cole, you can turn off your little devilish bullshit for that.
No, they need to work a little bit harder for that too.
Yeah. See, Colt is the type of person that when he goes to restaurants, he leaves what looks like a $20 bill, but it actually has a picture of Jesus on it and a Bible verse.
Mhm.
Oh god, that's
He
the worst.
saves.
That it shut. Oh man, if you ever did that to me, if I ever caught anybody doing that to me when I was working at the pizza place, that was their tip. I think I would have. A criminal act would have been committed. Let's just say that.
Yeah, because also for all our out of state listeners, there's definitely a lot of substitution of tips with like some pithy Christian token that will think, oh, the word of Christ is better than any tip. And it's like, okay, the word of Christ ain't gonna fucking pay my bills, bitch.
Yesterday, at the time of us recording this is Saturday. Split Fiction from Hazelight Studios released. This is a game that I've been anticipating pretty much all year, even though it was announced at the Game Awards. So, very excited. This is the same studio who made It Takes Two, A Way Out, and Brothers. I think a Tale of Two Brothers or whatever. It Takes Two was the game of the year for the year it came out. It was one of my favorite games of that year, and so far, Split Fiction is going to probably be for a while my game of the year this year because we're only halfway through it, and it is incredible. It is my favorite gaming experience probably ever. It is so there's so many like inspirations and references, but then there's also like these unique gameplay experiences that are put into it. It's like one of the longest Hazelight Studio games, and I kind of wish it was longer because it's so cool. They pack so much into it. Um, I was telling we were telling Tanner and Pat last night that there's like these two things specifically that have happened. There's this level that is had us grinning like fucking idiots. It made us so happy, but it was also really funny. But then after that, when we reach the finale of the first chapter, the big chapter, there's something happens in it that has me and Colt laughing and crying because it's so funny. And I don't really know how to describe to you other than it's so chaotic and us yelling at each other while we're being shot at. It's like something that would like not necessarily we be being shot at, but like we're in a high stress situation, we're having to do something, and it's like something that just would happen to us.
I was driving a motorcycle and Wenzel had to defuse a bomb. The motorcycle was the bomb. And the entire time I was like, Wenzel, I hope you got that. Wenzel, you good? What's going on over there? And the whole time Wenzel's like, what the fuck? Oh!
It was so funny because the way he's acting and the way I'm acting are exactly the same as the characters we're playing. His character is trying to drive the bike and she's like, "Are you good? What's going on? How are you doing?" And then me, I'm having to diffuse it by using the character's phone, and literally it's like It's like, oh, that's there's a part in there where you have to do a face scan so that you can open the phone, and when you do it, it's like those like people who like don't know how to angle their camera, so your face is just in it, and you look scared and confused and worried, and it's just like scanning your face. And there's so much bullshit that you have to go through. That's like, oh my god,
The
it's so funny.
captures,
You have to do
mark the stoplights or
you had
something
it.
like that.
Yes, you had to do the captcha test to see if you're human, which was really fun. To identify all the images, you had to read the terms and agreement, but then it was like, no, you actually have to read them. So you're having to actually scroll through the terms of agreement and say you read them, and then it's like now you have to enter this passcode. And as I'm trying to enter it, you're having to use like the touchpad or something, and it's like taking, let's just say it's scripted, so I don't think you would ever have actually been able to defuse it because it gives you so many prompts. It's so funny. It was so good. And yeah, it's really good. And the story like is incredible. It's very much, based on obviously a real issue happening, and that is um the basically the corporate theft of artists and ideas. It's very it's incredible. I really can't say enough about it. Like I said, we're only halfway through it, and I've had a blast. You do get to do these side stories in it that are so like they've all been incredible. My favorite, it's the one, I won't tell you everything, but it's the one that me and Colt had smiling so much. It was where we get to play as pigs. That's
Yep,
all I'm
I
gonna
was
say.
yep, I was a pig that had certain gassy powers. That's all I'm gonna say.
And I'm a pig with body horror. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it. And the ending is just the cherry on top for that side story. It's just the side stories are these little, like, you get to learn about these characters' ideas, and they're quick, and yeah, that you just gotta complete them, and that's it. It's very straightforward, very fun.
And it's my two
Okay.
favorite genres, fantasy and sci-fi, and you're bouncing back and forth from fantasy and sci-fi.
And also too, like, these characters, like, and their interests and stuff, they're very much like real people that I've interacted with. Like, these, like, some people don't like sci-fi, they only really like fantasy, or some people don't like fantasy, they only like sci-fi, and it's just like, wow, these both of these people are really frustrating because I know people like them exactly.
Yeah,
Eh,
because I've heard nothing but good things in just like the short amount of time that this has been out. Like just like superlative word of mouth, and it seemed to very much like up y'all's alley. And I really would love to see if there was like a stream version of this y'all had done. I would have been like absolutely would watch that, and hell, I would encourage other people to watch. Because it just seems like this very very much something Colton Wenzel will be one falling into in a crazy wacky story, but also very much rife for good fodder for stuff y'all would come up with. It's just crazy bullshit.
yeah.
Not I don't see us streaming it anytime soon, but in the future, I feel like streaming us replaying like something like A Way Out and It Takes Two, and eventually this is not off the table.
No, it's not. It's like it's so fun and so funny. If we just give it time to breathe, I definitely feel like we can go back to it and it just be just incredibly just fun because I mean, the experience right now, like it's so unique, and it just sets you up for just really fun just interactions and memories. There's something that I always remember from It Takes Two, and and it's a memory for everybody because they even reference it in a split fiction that is to this day still so fucking so funny, and then also so horrifying. um God. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's off the table because it's just too good. It's too good, and I mean, even in hell, like as we were playing, Canon messaged me and is like, "This game is awesome." Like I was very surprised. Cannon's currently playing it with his partner. And
Mhm.
I just love that. I just love seeing people really like I don't want to say recognize it, but I love like especially a small studio like this and stuff. I don't know. It makes me happy seeing people also playing these games and then like especially co-op as well. It's such a great experience to experience with other people.
The success of it makes me very happy because that means we get more co-op experiences from them
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
future.
agreed. Yep.
Yeah, I guess that's all we've been up to, really.
Yeah, not bad for an episode that we pulled together by the skin of our pants.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we had other things planned for this. Shit happens.
Literally.
A lot of it.
A lot of doo-doo.
You audience don't know. You have no idea, but that is not an understatement. That is not.
You don't know how fraught with danger our behind the scenes stories are. The experience, what we have to reckon with, not on a regular, semi-regular basis, the storms that we weather, just to tell you funny, off the cuff stories.
Let's just say I'm Invincible, Colt's Colt 50, and Pat's Mardi Gras Pat.
Yep. I got beads for days.
I'm made out of goo.
And I get the shit beat out of me every day. Does it make me stronger? I don't know.
Oh yeah, we should plug.
Yeah, go ahead.
Plug it up.
Just thanks for listening to this episode. We hope you really liked it. You can find us, the All You Can Hear podcast, on SoundCloud. Wow, I completely forgot everything. SoundCloud, Apple Podcast. I'm just gonna sorry if I don't have the plugs in front of me. No matter what, I can't say them. Sorry. You can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, YouTube, or anywhere where we might be, wherever. I don't know. Leave us a 5-star review, feedback, give us a subscribe. We really appreciate it. It helps us out. Follow us on Blue Sky, aychpodcast.bsky.social. Follow us on TikTok at AYCH Podcast. Follow us on Instagram, AYCH Podcast. Follow us on twitch.tv/allyoucanhear, where we, like I said, we might stream in the future those Hazelight Studio games. We have streamed in the past, so all the VODs from there go up on our YouTube, along with the instruction booklets on All You Can Hear. And lastly, you can follow me, Wenzel, on Blue Sky as World of Wenzel and Wenzel Essentials. I know I keep saying a Substack. I'm kind of conflicted on Substack right now, so fuck it. I don't know. Just wait. Just hold on. And my Linktree has links for everything, including my Goodreads, Letterboxd, and music board.
I'm Colt. Follow me on Blue Sky, Colt D99. Do yourself a favor and just go out there and watch some stuff. Just watch
A lot of good stuff.
Go on YouTube, type in skateboarder fights old lady. Watch that. You'll have fun.
Is that real?
I don't know. Probably.
Sure, in the instance of the world that there's been one skateboarder that's got into a fight with one old lady, and someone videotaped it.
Yeah.
It's possible. Open up your mind, man. And this has been Patrick. Thank you so much for listening to this very in-depth, very full, endearing episode of AYCH Podcast. You can follow me on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Letterboxd at John Lost His Name.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.